Hey there, Ride the Car Guy here, and today we're going to install a winch on my parents' 2017 Jeep JKU. We're installing an open road 13,000 pound winch. The kit should come with everything that we need except for what you're going to use to actually mount it to the vehicle. And that's where that hitch mount comes in. My parents aren't doing any crazy off-roading, so they don't plan on replacing their front and rear bumpers. So we found this on Facebook Marketplace. This is just a winch mount that uses the stock bumper and connects directly to the frame. So let's get right to it and make space for this guy to get mounted. Sometimes these mounts will be nice to you and they'll let you unscrew them with a Phillips head screwdriver and they'll sort of back out and then you can just pop the whole thing out. But a lot of times they don't, especially if they haven't been taken out in a long time. So I'm just going to pry them out with a flathead, and I really don't care how much I damage them because we're not going to replace them anyways. Once they're popped up enough, I just pull them out with a plier. This one's actually going to play nicely. Perfect. Backs right out. All right, with that clear, just sort of pop this out. I'm going to slide it to one side maybe. Never taken this out before. There you go. Forward, and then flip it up backwards. So it looks like it's supposed to go into two little slots. This might be a little hard to see in the light. Over there and over there. But when I try to slide it through, it's too wide, and I worry about scratching this up. So I think we're going to have to remove the grill just to make sure we're not damaging it during the installation. There's just some clips here. So just pull each one of those out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the top. And I see some clips at the bottom, but they look like just the pressure ones that you just push in. So let's see what happens. All right, so here goes nothing. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's crazy easy. Nice. Your fog lights are connected to this, so just be careful, don't go yanking it. I'm just gonna lift it up a little bit like this and not have to worry about it. I don't wanna disconnect anything, no reason to. So I'm gonna dry fit this first because my understanding is once we have this plate on, we're not gonna have any space to put the bolts into the actual winch. So I'm just gonna dry fit it, make sure I know exactly where it goes, because once we have the winch attached, I'm gonna lift the whole assembly into place. Well, this sucks because it kind of looks like the frickin' bumper needs to come off. When I try to lean it back to get it in here, it hits the radiator support. If I try to lean it forward, it hits the bumper. So cool. And it's so close too. Dang. All right, well, I went to YouTube University there for a second, and sure enough, looks like you need to take off the front bumper, slide it forward to get this winch plate on. Super annoying design, but really not the end of the world. I'm gonna put something right here, like a big tub or something, because again, there's more electronics you need to deal with. So I'm gonna loosen, it looks like there's 8 bolts. There's 4 on each frame, each side of the frame that is, and that go directly into the bumper. So 18 fits on it pretty tightly. I don't know, I doubt it's metric, but it's on there, you know, nice and snug. So I'm gonna pop those 8 off and slide it to make room. So on the bright side, this Jeep is incredibly low rust. There's a little bit of surface rust here and there. So it's looking like these are gonna come out really easily. It's taking no real effort at all. There's a bit of an access issue with the one on the bottom, on the driver's side. You just can't use a deep well socket, but if you have a regular one, like a regular 1/2 inch, you should be fine. You said this was gonna be easy, Dad. So that's just chilling on there, and I kind of hope there's enough wiring on the harnesses to let us pull it off without disconnecting anything. So here we go. All right, well, hopefully that's good enough. Well, don't forget when you go to reinstall these that you have these that sit behind. They sit on the little studs that are on the bumper, and they sit behind the nuts, so don't forget those. Clearly there's gonna be enough space now. There we go. Perfect. So now it's gonna be interesting because getting these bolts back in after this is installed. So that'll be pretty cool. Sliding that back in. Let me just grab this. Let's just see how it looks. Oh, okay. See, this is why we test fit, folks, because now we're figuring out our order of operations, so to speak. The grill needs to go back on, so we probably never had to take it off in the first place, so let's just be clear there. And then we have to put in the winch and plate, and then we have to slide the bumper on. Put our grill back in. All right, make sure we have no issue with this. I doubt we are. Yep, we're fine. All right, cool. So I guess at this point, let's get the winch attached to the winch plate and then set it in there and see how it goes. All right, so I'm just finding the foam that's meant for the top of this. We'll flip it over. There we go. Perfect. And then we flip our plate over and install it. All right, here's our plate. Make sure we have the front on the front. So this is the front. Obviously all of our big electrical connections are in the rear. So flip the plate around, set it down. It looks like the holes go on the outside. So we're gonna set this back down. We have our little nuts here. They're square, they slide in. All right, grab our plate back. Should be good there. I wanna see if we're gonna have any issue getting our plate on. No, we're not, we'll be fine. So it looks like we have 4 washers, 4 lock washers, then our bolts. These appear to be 16s, so we're gonna get those tightened down. These are grade 8.8 bolts, so I feel pretty comfortable hitting them with my impact just to get them down quick. Okay, awesome. So I just put this on and I forgot to put the negative cable on, which of course is under the motor, so between the motor and plate. So okie dokie, backing it up and doing it over again. What I can say is I'm glad I caught it now and not once it was installed, because that would be a huge pain in the ass. Here we go. This one, these little mounts appear to be the same. So I'm just gonna slide this on and tighten it down. Now we can put the plate back on. Okay, I think we're ready to slap it on the front of the Jeep. I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is probably a 2-person job. This is gonna be, I'd guess, I don't know, 60 plus pounds. So I'm gonna leave this down here because it is, it's basically gonna be my insurance in case the bumper slides off and falls. But I'm gonna do it just like we did before. So flip it up. There we go. And then I'm gonna take these cables and just get them forward. There. So that way they're not gonna obstruct us. Slide that one in and that one in. There we go. Get my fingers caught. Crap. Oh, hold on. There we go. Woo, watch your fingers. I love that it has those little kind of sleeves that it slides into because it's already secured. It's not gonna fall out at this point. So now that it's in, we can push everything up back into place and then secure the bumper back on. Slide it up. There we go. Just push it all back into place. Good. Very nice. It decided that we're gonna have to do everything else underneath, at least for the mounting portion, because that's really the only way we're gonna be able to get to the bumpers. We just have this little guard here. We can pop this off by taking the 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 4 clips on the front and 2 in the rear. You'll see they're right above these little horizontal lines in here. These clips are just as easy as the top ones. You just kind of gotta work them a little bit if they haven't been taken out in a while, and then just pull with your fingers and they come right out. And like I said, there's another 2, but be careful, especially since it's kind of just loose in here. But pull that out, this one, and then the whole thing should come away. There we go. Beautiful. So it turns out we should have done all of this down below, because when you come back up here, you move this away, you have full access to everything that you need. So here's the 2 on the passenger side, and then the other 2, and then the same over here. Just go in, get your nuts, put them back on there. Don't forget those plates, tighten it all back down. So once the bumper is back on and everything's secured in place, we need to actually secure the winch mount to the frame, and that's what these bolts do here. This came with the kit, and if you just follow your plate down into the frame, you'll see the hole and you'll see that it's threaded on the winch mount. So just grab that, feed it in, should sit. You may have to lift a little bit, but it should go in. Okay, cool. So that's going in there. And then these are, well, mine are 19s. I'm not sure what yours might be, but so I'm just gonna tighten both of these down on both sides, and then we can put our little guard back in and do everything else up top. Once you feel good about everything down here, so that is obviously both of your winch mount bolts are in and all of the nuts are tight on the back of the bumper, we can go ahead and put our little guard back on here, and that's as simple as just lining it back up like so. Oh, other way around. There you go. And then just clipping our little retainers in. There we go. All right, feeling good about this being mounted here. Glad to be vertical again. I'm gonna leave the grill unsnapped just so I can get the positive and negative cables ran up. I'm just gonna run it up the side of the fender because the battery's right there in the back. We'll just go in, I don't know, probably in the second little hole here. There we go. I'm gonna run it up against the power steering reservoir. I'll just do one at a time to make it easier. Push it up there, let's see. I think we're gonna have just enough cable here. A little bit concerned about the length they give you, but we'll see once we get to that point. And then from this point, it looks really easy. Yeah, we're just wedging it. There is a little guard here. I'm not sure what the story is on this guard, but it has, well, it has a harness going through it, so we're gonna follow it. There we go, excellent. And, oh yeah, we'll have enough. Whew, good. So that's there. and I'm just gonna do the same exact thing with the negative. This one I don't think is gonna make it. Well, it might. Let's just see. Ugh. It's a little too tight for my comfort, so we're not gonna route it through the same way that we did on the positive. We're just gonna kind of loop it back, put a little bit of slack maybe by the air box, and then run it up the side of the fuse box here. So we'll pop that off and connect these both on, and we're done. I'm loosening both, but I'm gonna do the positive first. Get it behind this random relay here. Don't even know what this is. Woo, okay. I feel like it's just making it here, and it's kind of shoved against the back of the firewall. Not the biggest fan of that, but it should have a lot of shielding, so we're gonna have to work with it. So slap this little thing back on here and tighten her down. Same story, I'm gonna wrap around and go to the other side here. Get ready to turn it on. There we go. You know, I did forget one crucial step here, and that is getting our guide on. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna feed this through. There we go. So I'm gonna get the washer, lock washer, bolt, and slide them both through. All right, just have to tighten that down, but that looks pretty darn good. I'm gonna release the clutch here temporarily, and that way I can pull it out. There we go. And of course, put in our shackle. All right, look at this beast here. Slide that in. Comes with a cotter pin, which is a bit weird, but whatever. There you go. And in a minute here, we'll cinch it up. All right, I actually really like the way it looks. It looks really mean. It's giant. I kind of like that about it. You know, we definitely have to test it. So this has 2 remote systems, has a plug-in right here. It also has 2 remotes. This has a wireless system as well, which is pretty cool. So, all right, just for the heck of it, we're gonna do a little test. This has a wireless remote, like I said earlier. So this one, you just have to hold the power button for like 3 seconds, turns on, turns red, and then we should be able to just winch away. Nice. I'm gonna turn the wheels because it's offset. Very cool. Love it. Well, mission accomplished. All right, guys, that is it for this video. I actually really love the way this looks, especially with the red accents on the red Jeep. It adds a little bit of off-road feel to it. I think this is a really great option for folks who want to go off-roading on their own, but don't want to outfit their Jeep like crazy with big aftermarket front and rear bumpers. If you're out on a trail in any Jeep, doesn't matter if it's stock or not, if you get stuck, you're really stuck. So you want to get yourself out easily, and this is the way to do it. Be sure to subscribe, especially if you're into Jeeps. There's going to be a couple more things we're going to do for my folks here. We're going to put a light on the hood, we're going to put a whip in, and we're going to install a massive radio. So be sure to follow along. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.